So good morning, students. Today we will start a next topic, that is nothing but the integrator, which is of second topic of the second unit. This is third topic of second unit. In last lecture we had discussed about the differentiator and we solved the different problems of the differentiator. Now we talk about the integrator. Now integrator, as we have discussed, differentiator has two types, that is passive differentiator and active differentiator. Here also there are two types of integrator where we are using an active component like operational amplifier, then it is called an active integrator. So active component like operational amplifier. So here we are discussing about the active differentiator. So active integrator. So in an integrator we already talked about integrator that we have to exchange the arrangement of the component which we are using in the differentiator. So at input side in differentiator we are using a capacitor. Here we are using a resistor and which is connected to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. So first of all we have discussed about the that is ideal integrator. So this is nothing but a capacitor which is connected in feedback circuit of the integrator circuit. This is plus VCC, this is minus VCC, this is and minus VCC. So here we have to provide the V in, this is R1, this is CF, and this point is nothing but we can say A, this is point B. Now actually when we solve this problem or we are assuming ideal condition of the operational amplifier, this voltage must be equals to this voltage, and as this is ground, so this voltage must be, that is if we are considering the voltage at this point, so this voltage is nothing but we are assuming here, let us consider this voltage be a VA, this voltage be a VA, and which is equals to 0 because these two are potentially equal. So that's why this point is nothing but a VA and VA is equals to 0 condition. Now we have to prove that this circuit will act as an integrator circuit. So for that we are assuming the current flowing through this nothing but the I, and this current must be I1. Let us assume this current. Now bias current, ideally this must be a 0. That's why no current flowing through this. That is also one of the condition which we have to use during solving the problem. So if we want to calculate the current I, how we are going to calculate the current I? I is nothing but the current flowing through the resistance R1. So if we want to calculate the I by simple Ohm's law, we just take the voltage difference divided by resistance. So V in, so I is equals to, first I is equals to V in minus VA divided by R1. So as VA is equals to 0, so I must be equals to V in by R1, as VA is equals to 0. That's why V in is I is equals to V in by R1. Now next, similarly we have to calculate the current I1. So I1 is equals to, now we are dealing with the capacitor. So how we are going to calculate the current flowing through the capacitor, that is capacitor CF into differentiation of what? The potential difference of these 2 points. Now this point must be a VO. So potential difference is nothing but the VA minus, what is the voltage available? This is nothing but the VO. This difference voltage must be differentiated with respect to dt. Now this is CF into ddt of VA minus VO. So as we know that VA again is equals to 0, so it must be CF into ddt of, this is minus VO, or in other words we can say minus CF dVO by dt. So this is nothing but the I1. So let us assume that this equation must be 1 and this equation must be a 2. Now if we look at the circuit and this bias current we are assuming equals to 0, so this I must be equals to I1. So from this we can say that equation 1 equals to equation 2. So by this condition, we can write a statement, that is V in by R1 is equals to minus CF d dt of VO. So now the ultimate target of this equation is nothing but we have to solve the equation for the VO. So if we want to calculate the value of VO, then we have to take this VO out of this differentiation, and to cancel the differentiation we must take integration of both sides. So by integrating both sides, we can write as V in divided by R1 equals to minus CF integration of d dt of VO. 0 to t, we can say 0 to t, 0 to 2, 0 to t, that is over the time period. So this must be minus CF dt and integration will be cancelled. This is nothing but the VO, and this is integration 0 to t time V in divided by R1. R1 maybe we are taking R1 out of this integration because this is constant. So we get VO is equals to minus 1 upon R1 CF integration V in 0 to t. And here one another condition, we are assuming initial condition, assuming initial condition is 0. Otherwise we have to add some point here, that is the voltage due to the initial condition. That's why we are considering this is 0. That's why we are directly writing this formula, that is 0 to t V in divided by R1. Integration will be cancelled by the differentiation will be cancelled by the integration, and we are getting minus CF into V0. So ultimately we are getting output voltage VO is equals to minus 1 upon RF CF integration 0 to t V in dt, that is with respect to t. So we are getting this formula for the output voltage. So this is nothing but a final formula for the output voltage. As we are integrating with respect to t, that is 0 to t, so that's why we have to write here dt. This is 0 to t, that's why we have to write here dt. So ultimately the formula for output voltage VO is equals to minus 1 upon R1 into CF and integration 0 to t V in dt. Here this 1 upon R1 CF, this point, this value is nothing but called as a time constant. This is called a time constant, and this negative sign indicates the phase shift by 180 degree. That is input and output will be shifted by 180 degree. So this is nothing but a formula for the output voltage. That is output voltage of the integrator. That is integrator output voltage. Here we are getting integration of the V in with time constant 1 upon R1 CF. This is what the integrator circuit. So now this is nothing but the ideal condition of the integrator. This is an ideal integrator. This is called a ideal integrator circuit. Now, if there are some limitations, or we can say there are some drawbacks of the ideal integrator. First drawback is nothing but a bandwidth. Main is nothing but bandwidth. Bandwidth means operating frequency of the integrator is very low. That means it works properly properly for the low frequency. That means its bandwidth is less. This is the first reason that we have to change or we have to modify this ideal indicator. This first point. Then again second point, ideally we are considering the biasing current or bias voltage we are assuming here equals to 0. But practically if we are dealing with the operational amplifier, there are some biasing current and biasing voltage. Because of that the output, we are not getting exact integrated output at the output side. That's why we have to change or we have to modify modify the ideal integrator with practical differentiator. For that purpose, we have to make some arrangement in the ideal integrator, and that modified circuit is called a practical differentiator. So for practical differentiator, we have to add one resistance in parallel with the capacitor, that is in feedback. And to reduce the bias circuit, we have to add here one R compensator. This is R1, this is inverting, this is non-inverting. So we have to add here, this is, see here, this is VO, this is what? RF, this is CF. Here we have to provide Vin, this R1, this plus VCC, this is minus VCC. So this R compensatory, that R compensating voltage, maybe we are assuming here, maybe it will be equals to R1, or we can say this must be equals to R1 parallel to RF. So this is nothing but a R compensatory, and this is the RF, which is up here or which is available in the practical differentiator. So this is nothing but the practical integrator circuit. So this is what the practical integrator circuit. So now we are having the formula for the output voltage. By using that output voltage formula, that is VO is equals to 1 upon R1 into CF, integration of V with respect to dt. So by using that formula, we can derive, we can obtain any output from the input for the integrator circuit, or we can able to draw the output wave shape by using this formula, that is generalized formula. The similar problem, or for output waveform, we solved one problem related to the differentiator. Likewise, here also we have to solve the problem related to the integrator. So now we are talking about we are going to solve the first problem related to the integrator.